Sean Strickland is the champion. Foul-mouthed. I think he says he grew up in a trailer park. I think he said he was abused as a child. So he's the champion. Took it from Israel Adesanya, who's very flamboyant in his maneuvers. Colby Covington lost. He was supposed to bring it back for America. It's an exciting time. UFC 300's coming up. But the challenger to Sean Strickland, this is the middleweight champion, is this South African guy. And I wasn't a big fan of him before. He had this whole, all of Africa needs to come together, or however South Africans sound. Trying to do this whole social justice things for Africa, as if a South African is the same as a Moroccan or an Egyptian. They're all wildly different cultures, right? And I was never not like a fan of his. I just didn't care for him. And then him and Sean Strickland fought at a UFC event in the crowd. And then I started listening to Sean Strickland on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I was, let's go ahead and say, exposed to some stuff here. Let's play a minute of Sean Strickland on Theo Vaughn.
Him actually. Pull it up. Show the man. Yeah,
what's the coach's name? Ron?
Yeah, just type in coach kissing Drykiss or grabbing his dick. I mean, it should be one of the first things that comes up.
But now some of this is a cultural thing, buddy.
I don't know, dude. You get your dick grabbed a lot in South Africa?
So what we're looking at here is the top middleweight contender in the UFC. He kisses his coach, his head trainer, I think, on the lips. And there's more than one of this. They're going to show you one that is shocking. Let's just say that it's shocking.
That could be made up, huh?
Yeah, it could be made up. What about
wow, he's a strong guy, huh?
Yeah, he's in there, dude. He's in there.
Look, I think I wouldn't kiss him, but I would fucking I'd get close to him and tell him goodbye.
Would you give it a little nut grab?
No, I'm not touching somebody's fucking nuts. That's insane. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's not that.
Okay, that's crazy, dude.
I mean, that's an embrace, though, bro.
I say this. He seems like a very nice guy. I didn't know that was. I didn't.
This one particularly, and I think we can bring up these photos. I don't know if that one's in there, but we have this one here. We've got this one here. Sorry, I'm clicking on it there. This might be the same one. Yeah. But this is two shirtless guys in the gym kissing on the lips, taking a photo of it. Now, if Dricus du Plessis is gay, if he's a gay man, he says, this is my boyfriend, my lover, whatever, pretty much nobody has a problem with that, right? Pretty much nobody has a problem with that, right? What do you expect a gay guy to do other than kiss another guy, right? Okay, I don't have a problem with it. Not my cup of tea. Not gonna have a problem. Like, I wouldn't be confused as to why this is happening, let's just say. However, I couldn't find anything that says that he's actually gay. And it's never been talked about. That's fine, but they're alleging that he's not gay. And so that moves us to why is he doing this? Then I found this video where a South African guy explains that this is part of the culture. Let's watch this guy's clip. This seems to be a random account.
Please address the coach kissing you on the mouth thing.
I saw that as well. In Afrikaans culture, well, that's how we were brought up.
Yeah.
Like, to greet your father or even like your grandfather with a kiss and a hug was like a normal thing. And I think that's just like, it was not really something that's, but I can imagine people watching the fight knock out and then kissing your coach, like, what? Maybe it's just not a big cultural thing in other countries.
I'd never kiss
True, it is not.
an older man on the mouth in that way.
Okay. There's usually transactions involved.
There's usually money changes hands.
So yeah, that is, I think, another South African fighter talking about how it's a cultural thing in Afrikaans to kiss your male elder, your grandfather, your father on the lips. This raises questions, not going to lie, but it does remind me of of this idea that you cannot question other cultures. No culture is better than the other one. I'm thinking that maybe at some point, maybe a couple hundred years ago, there was a group of people who wanted to kiss who wanted to kiss their sons, the people they were elders to, maybe their martial arts kids that they were training, and there was a group of men who said, hey, let's just say this is a cultural thing. Because this is not, okay? There's something that happens in your brain when you kiss somebody on the lips that's different than kissing somebody on the cheek, on the forehead, on the hand, or anything. Okay, this is not a cultural thing. I'm going to declare it right now. As a non-South African, even though we are all Africans.tm, as a non-South African, I am rejecting South Africa in the way that they say it is a cultural thing to kiss your male mentor, elder, grandfather, whatever on the lips. Rejected outright. And this is not anti-South African. This is anti-pretend cultural things. Example. You want another example? We're going to bring it in, okay? He's bringing it in. He's bringing in the other example. They say he can't bring in... We're working on the Trump impression, okay? Another example. Caribbean culture. You know where I'm going with this. Caribbean culture, the dancing. They have things called daggering. They have things called whining or winding, where they're dancing like strippers, they're humping each other, they're thrusting. It's basically sex with clothes on, right? That's just a cultural thing. Have you ever met somebody or talked to somebody or read something about somebody saying it's not sexual, it's just culture? This means you've been brainwashed, okay? If you heard from the Catholic Church, and sorry to bring this into it, but it's because it's a historical fact that's happened, and everybody can agree that it's happened and that it's wrong. If you were told that a church, a priest, a cardinal, whatever, that they had taught children, the altar boys, that it was just culture to kiss them on the lips or to grind on each other, you would say, no, that's weird and that's creepy. This South African guy is saying it's their culture to kiss their mentor on the lips when you greet them, your grandfather, your coach, your trainer, whatever. The Caribbeans are saying it's just culture to simulate sex with our clothes on while dancing, and there's nothing sexual about it. Rejecting A, rejecting B, and we're rejecting C. We're rejecting all of these. You can go ahead and say that this is your culture. I don't have to believe you. Because all it takes is for like one married girl who's not from South Africa to marry the South African guy. They're all happy, or maybe they're just engaged. They're all happy. They fly in Buddy's South African family over the United States for the wedding, and then he's standing there. And in many Catholic weddings, the groom and the groomsmen will stand there in a lineup, and everybody in the party, like everybody in the wedding, will come by and shake their hand, right? And then this woman notices this guy's family coming up, and then he's kissing dad, he's kissing granddad, he's kissing his jiu-jitsu coach, he's kissing the village elder, he's kissing Gus the mechanic who taught him how to change his oil, he's kissing 10 dudes, and all of a sudden the wife is thinking, this cultural thing is a little strange. Okay? And that same goes for the man dating the Caribbean girl who's got a bunch of guy friends, let's say, and then maybe they're dancing at their own wedding, and they're daggering. And I don't know the names of any of the other dances. I just know that daggering is a hilarious term for something. That person's going to start to wonder, cultural or just overtly sexual? You'd say the same thing about the priest, right? So this guy and Dricus du Plessis, the UFC fighter, are saying it's just a cultural thing. We've been brought up to do this. And Andrew posits that bringing up somebody to kiss an adult man on the lips is still gay. Humping each other while you dance is still sexual. Priests manipulating boys, still grooming. I'm going to posit that all of these things are still those things, no matter if you put a cultural spin on it or not. South Korea, boy bands, wearing makeup, still culture, don't care. Just like if I was to say to you in Canada, from the ages of 18 to 20, you got to live in an igloo. It's just cultural. You do it anyways. And you're just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, but it's cultural. You can't question it. Get into that snow shelter, have your bank account seized, and shut up about it, okay? Smoke your DeMaurier cigarettes. That's fine. As long as it doesn't damage the interior of the igloo. Just because somebody says something's cultural doesn't mean it's normal. You could putting this label on something. You know, England eats mushy peas. They cut fish in half, put it on a sandwich with mayonnaise. They call it a delicacy. Beans on toast. It's our culture. It's still peasant food. If you were to go back to the year 1300, you'd see people eating beans for breakfast. Maybe not as good as the ones that come out of a can. You'd still see them eating, you know, mushrooms on toast. But that wasn't a choice. Now it's a choice. It's not just cultural. It's just a choice. Kissing a guy on the lips multiple times. We got to go back to the one. If you're going to tell me that this photo is two heterosexual men just greeting each other, is doing his best to beat... Okay, that has nothing to do with it. If you're going to tell me that this is just two mates admiring each other, kissing on the lips at the gym, shirtless, sweaty, tight shorts, short shorts, a little too short, not too short, tighter than they are short. Certainly not 2002 and 1 short. That would be down to your ankles. But certainly not 1985 John Stockton short, but a little north of the knee, a little tight so you can see what's going on here. And they're shirtless, and a hand is around the waist. And you're saying that's cultural? Come on. Come on, man.
I don't think that that's him.
Maybe it wasn't him. If that's him, this is definitely him. The other one's definitely him. You can't tell me that the other one's not him. The other two aren't him. Let's hope for the sake of Sean Strickland that photo in the gym wasn't him. Disclaimer, might have not been him, but let's hope it wasn't him. But these ones are him. And you heard it. Let's hear what this guy said again before we skip this topic.
Could you please address the coach kissing you on the mouth thing?
I saw that as well. In Afrikaans culture, well, that's how we were brought up.
Yeah.
That's how we were brought up.
To
greet your father,
your father, or even like your grandfather with a kiss and a hug was like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So your grandfather, your jiu-jitsu coach, your boxing coach, your father, as a kid, you're kissing them all on the lips. Is this even an argument I need to make? Or do the men of the world just instinctively know not right, not normal? Okay.
Turn it up, Jordan.